What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special episode of a brand new series here on the channel. So you've seen our long form episodes where we go deep dive into entire seasons of shows, but this is a special sister show to the main Channel Chasers podcast, where Tony and I get to dive into one of our favorite niche subgenres in all of pop culture, and that is anime.
Yes. The shows from the land of the rising sun that inspire us to just entertain little ideas in our heads that leads to crafting our own unique tales, and have so much respect for creators from the West and the East.
And you guys are definitely familiar with the, my love for anime and stuff. I did a lot of reviews for seasonal anime back in the day on this channel. And you guys probably are a little familiar with Tony, because Tony and I, along with our buddy Jordan, for about, I want to say at least a year and a half, close to 2 years, we did our own anime podcast over on Tony's channel called Weeb Warriors, where we actually covered all the a bunch of seasonal anime as they were coming out.
Yep, and a lot of great memes were made from that time, even though a lot of videos didn't get that many comments on it. I mean, it's long podcast format, and I still am a relatively small channel.
Yep.
But still, it is what it is, and I got a lot of great memories.
A lot of fun discussions and a lot of fun hot takes. Now, these, of course, are titled mini episodes, so these aren't going to be like what you are used to with the podcast, where they're like 2 hours long. Even though we could very easily discuss this particular show for 2 hours, but we're gonna cut it down to at least just a 20-minute review of this brand new seasonal anime that just premiered this season. That is the latest work of the author behind the brilliant rom-com Kaguya Sama Love is War. Of course, I am talking about Oshi No Ko Season 1. Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely.
This one is very important, and I think it was the perfect show to kick this series off with. Just to let you guys know as a heads up, we aren't going to be covering every seasonal anime like we used to, because that's just a lot of work. Basically, each season we're gonna find one that resonates with the both of us that we want to talk about, and we're gonna cover that each season. And this season is going to be Oshi No Ko. So,
and for good reason. Like Jay said, it's not only pinned by Akasasa Sensei, the author of Love is War, but it's also drawn by the artist who did Scum's Wish and other notable works, which those who are fans of the manga that this very interesting and dark tale comes from, it's like the manga came to life and went technicolor. It was
for sure
so good.
Yeah, this was actually a series Tony brought to my attention a while back, and then I didn't know it was getting an anime adaptation, and then everybody started talking about it, and I was like, that name sounds really familiar. And then Tony was like, yeah, I told you about this years ago. I was like, oh yeah. And so I checked it out, and of course, I was blown away. The first thing I want to talk about briefly, I think, because it deserves its own section of the review, is what I like to call the opening OVA, the first episode, which is movie length. Oh my god, was it amazing! It is one of the best opening episodes of an anime I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, one thing I will say that it's something I also brought to your attention here, Jay, because it's basically volume 1 of the manga just made into anime form.
Yep.
And for those of you who know, you know, because we don't want to spoil this show for those who actually want to see it for themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a reason why it is movie length.
Yeah, because just a lot of stuff happens. There's a twist that I don't see coming. Oh, I didn't see coming when I first watched it. Also, just as a heads up for people who maybe aren't familiar with the show or heard about it but haven't checked it out yet, if you listen to the opening, do not look up the lyrics because those contain some major spoilers in there.
Oh yeah. Even though the song itself is
the song is a banger. I'm not gonna deny you the pleasure of listening to Idol because Idol is an amazing song. I'm just warning you not to look up the lyrics to Idol.
Oh, I listen to that shit daily.
Yeah, it's my wake up alarm actually. I love that song.
Hilarious. But they're also great YouTubers. Well, YouTube musicians that have excellent English covers of this track.
Yep.
Even down to the Japanese side of YouTube, where they do their own covers. And
oh yeah, no, it's great. The opening is amazing. Yeah.
Just today, I listened to a heavy metal version of Idol.
Oh, cool.
It actually sounded amazing. I will send you the link to that. It's
nice. But yeah, the opening is amazing. I think it's awesome. And something that I want to say for Oshi No Ko that like really like impacted me a lot is how accurate Oshi No Ko is to industry life. Now, I'm a small potatoes content creator. I only have like, a couple thousand subs here on YouTube and like, a few hundred over there on Twitch. I'm thankful for each and every one of you, but like, let's be real, I'm a small potatoes creator. But I'm very familiar with the inner workings of social media, of like how networking, the politics of networking and making connections, how collabs work, the tedium that is editing. Oh man, I am more than familiar with that. Also as a paid editor on the side, so like, I'm familiar with several aspects of the modern entertainment industry, in a sense, and this show actually gets so much of that accurate, it blows my mind.
Oh yeah, and it's also, keep in mind for the folks at home, this is focused on the Japanese entertainment industry, which is a different entirely.
Oh yeah.
There are things that we as content creators can really relate to, even though the politics of content creation is different from it is here in America, for example, compared to Japan.
And also just like the relatability of like what the characters go through and like their own personal struggles. Like the character that I love the most and probably relate to the most is Arima.
Oh yeah.
I love Arima because Arima is the embodiment of imposter syndrome. Arima is a child actor who, was labeled as a genius, but then afterwards, when she grew out of it, people only really saw her for, what she did before, and only want her to, keep doing that kind of thing. And as a content creator who has bounced from different areas here and there, trying their hand at their different passions, I really feel that because this isn't anywhere near to the level of Arima, but when I left ComicTube and I started doing like TV and stuff, a lot of people will, in my fan base were like, man, you've changed, I where are the comic reviews at? Do you not read comics anymore? You just, it's like, yeah, but I don't want to deal with you people. Like, come on, man. I get that imposter syndrome a lot because honestly, I feel it. Like, I may be a small potatoes creator, but like, when I wake up every day and I realize what I'm doing and like, how I just somehow, by the grace of God, make a difference in people's day just by entertaining them, it blows my mind every time. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, definitely, and I also have a few things to talk about when it comes to the characters. And one of the things that really draws me in is that it feels so raw. Like,
Oh yeah.
all the characters have these very raw emotions because the art, like, being an entertainer is great. It's fun. It's a lot of people's lifeblood, but it's also very cutthroat, very brutal, very.
Yeah,
Game
people
of
don't
Thrones.
really explore the dark side of being an entertainer. The thing is, right, like, you can't be an entertainer and not be fucked up in the head somehow.
Yeah,
Like,
unfortunately.
you know? I feel like it's a
And-
requirement, because, like,
Yeah.
it's an outlet for a lot of people, and you see it with a lot of these characters, right? Like, you know, Akane, she really loses herself in her roles. It's one of the reasons I used to love acting and doing theater, is like, you get to be another person for this period of time, and you know, you don't have to worry about the problems of being you, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And also, I like aspects of this plot because it is something that is so fascinating,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't want to spoil, but our leading characters have very interesting goals and ambitions.
Yeah,
because-
the fact that it well, you know, obviously we won't spoil how, but the fact that it's a revenge story on top of all that is really fascinating. And one aspect that I think is really cool, is that, like, we see also kind of the concept of, like, inherited will and talent. And I think something that'll be interesting going forward is to see if Aqua actually inherited his acting talent, not from Ai, but his father.
which, as someone who has looked into a bit of the research manga-wise,
Mm-hmm.
you're not that far off there, my friend.
Oh, cool, yeah. So
But,
what
I'll say
else? What
this.
else do you want to talk about with the show?
I will say this: the murder plot.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait to see more seasons of Oshi No Ko following the murder plot because it gets nuttier. me tell
Nice, nice.
And I'm not gonna elaborate on that. That's for you folks to learn.
Yeah, for sure.
But one thing I would like to mention about Oshi No Ko, and it's like it got a lot of flack with its 7th episode.
Oh, the recap?
No, that's 7.5, my friend.
Ah.
The 7th episode, it was the 6th or the 7th, where it really delved into the psychology of someone who isn't used to a lot of backlash.
Oh, the Akane episode! I love the Akane episode because, like, man, that was the point where I was like, you know, I thought the show was relatable before, but damn, is this show relatable now?
Yeah, and one thing about that, it's so relatable. It was to the point where people are assuming that Akasasa Sensei took real life inspiration from a similar event that happened in Japan, and it's neither confirmed nor denied, which I don't want to put that into the ethos, but it's just something that was talked about.
Yeah, no,
And-
I think that episode was fantastic because, like, you know, I've not been shy about talking about my mental health on here. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, comments and shit, as much as you try your best to, like, build a thick skin, that shit gets to you. And I've definitely been in that kind of a dark place that Akane was in. Like,
you and me both, brothers.
it's super real.
We've been in in this content game for how long?
Yeah, over 10 years. Mm-hmm.
And it gets better, but then you have those darker moments where you get real, just smooth-brained individuals.
Oh yeah, and I like, one of the things that I love about this show is that it's so inspiring, because a lot of times when you're in content creation or just the entertainment industry in general, no matter what capacity it is, there's a lot of rejection and there's a lot of just, man, is it even worth it to keep doing this? Like, I love this, but I'm not going anywhere. Is it worth it?
Oh, definitely.
And, like, Ruby and her just unrelenting tenacity of, I'm gonna be an idol just like my mama. Like, it's so beautiful, and it reminds me of the spark that I used to have, where I was like, man, I want to make amazing videos. I don't care if it gets 1 view, 10 view, 10,000 views. I want to make the best videos I can. And honestly, watching the show has really re-energized me in terms of like making content. It's why I had the idea of, doing a spin-off series with Tony where, we talk about, weeb shit like this.
And it's also the font of inspiration that brought me to actually want to write, not professionally, but just enough to really call myself an author.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing you should learn about me, folks, is that for the longest time I wanted to be an author. That's one thing that I've always been inspired by. I've been inspired by comic book writers like Grant Morrison, Jeff Lemire. I've been inspired by horror authors like Stephen King. I've been just enthralled by stories and those great modern myth makers and the myth makers of the past, like Tolkien, like C.S. Lewis. These foundations of fantasy, fiction, sci-fi, horror, you name it. And Oshi No Ko brought out that creator spark in my very soul.
That really shows the beauty of stories, and also it shows, kind of just the different stages of being a creator. You start off bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and then eventually you end up like the director, where you're jaded and you're just like, man, this industry is full of just nothing but a bunch of sycophantic assholes. Like,
or when I was back in my early 20s, I actually wanted to get into film. I wanted to be that kind of director, like a Tarantino. But I thought to myself, with Hollywood the way it was at that time and the way it is now, unfortunately, I would never make it. Because I would have to take things that weren't mine.
Yeah.
Because it's all about safe bets.
Yeah, nowadays especially, it's more about just established IP more than making original, concepts.
And Oshi No Ko really proved that point to me, that even down to the specifics of things that get adapted from just Japan in general, because I'm drawn to the first few episodes after episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was the manga adaptation that was made into a drama, where the mangaka was so dead inside. They were so distraught about their work not getting adapted the way they wanted to.
But then Aqua, brought like a whole new layer to it. It's like, wow, this could have never been done in a manga. This was worth it.
Actually, no. For the final episode, Aqua decided to really get a good performance out of the actors that just did it because they were pretty.
Yeah.
And Kana also gave the best performance she could with the material she had. And because I remember the mangaka's face, she looked so defeated, as I said. And when that last episode aired, even though the overall show was crap, the ending, like the last episode,
was memorable.
Yes, because Aqua brought out the great performances in everyone involved in that.
And that's one of the things I like about Aqua a lot. He keeps saying that he's not a good actor, but he is the best kind of actor. He is the kind of actor that, like, I aspired to be back when I wanted to be an actor. He is a character actor. He doesn't care about like the big roles or the glory. He cares about making whatever he's a part of the best it can be.
Oh, definitely. And it shows a lot with his characterization. And y'all are gonna hate it because we're being vague about it. Go see Oshi No Ko to get the proper context, good sirs and misses.
Yeah, no, it's a phenomenal show. It has fantastic drama, a very interesting murder mystery, endearing characters, a beautiful sibling relationship that has no incest in it, thank God.
Thank God. Also, the art in this anime, fucking gorgeous.
And then just like how the animators really bring to life the eyes of the characters is phenomenal. It really kind of, brings life to the old adage of the eyes being the windows to the soul, because in the moment where you actually see their eyes literally light up and you see that spark come back to characters, especially in the case of like Aqua, it is amazing.
Oh yeah, and the manga, it's made abundantly clear what the eyes represent, but I'm not going to say that for anime onlys, because all I will say, the eyes are important.
Oh yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed this review. It was super vague. We could have done a spoiler version, but if we did, this would be like an hour long.
And that would be fun.
Yeah.
Because...
we want you guys to see it.
Oh yeah, and just judging by our scores here, which we will give here momentarily, it will really, I hope, it would incentivize you, the prospective creators out there that feel inspired to just create content.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'll start off. I give it a 9.5. Like, honestly, I thought about it thoroughly, and I was like, there isn't much I can say bad about it except for the recap episode. So I'm just like, yeah, 9.5.
Which High Dive thankfully just lets you skip.
Yep.
Which also, you can find Oshi No Ko on High Dive as a High Dive exclusive.
Yeah, do not sleep on High Dive, y'all. I slept on High Dive for the longest time, and High Dive has some of the greatest sleeper hits.
And also some of my personal favorites, because it also has Dust Made of Amnesia on there.
Yep.
Beautiful show. But for my score for Oshi No Ko, such a creative, such a very vibrant, dark exploration into entertainment. It is the thing that motivated me to just really explore storytelling. And it was something that Akasasa Sensei wanted to re-explore for himself after writing Kaguya Sama. And with that, I will give Oshi No Ko Season 1 a 10 out of 10.
Whoa! We're starting this series off with a bang! Okay.
Because objectively, it is gorgeous. And yes, the recap episode it exists. You could just forget about it. But overall, storytelling, animation, the scenes in episode 1 will make you cry.
Yep.
With pain and with joy.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like the performance in episode 11, I felt like a proud parent, man. I was like, yeah, you go, Ruby.
Oh, yeah. It was so damn good. Trust me, folks.
Yeah.
You may not like my opinions a lot of the time. You may not like Jay's opinions. But all I will say, watch this show.
Trust us. If you have any bit of an artist's soul in you, Oshi No Ko will really set that spark off. Whether you're a dancer, a singer, an artist, a writer, a comic artist, or just a fan of good storytelling, this has it all, man.
It is entertainment in its brightest and its darkest form.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen out there in the great ether.
Yeah,
tell us what you think of Oshi No Ko if you've seen it for yourself.
Yeah, definitely tell us in the comments down below. And as an extra bonus, if you do leave a comment, we'll be sure to feature that comment on the main podcast. So if you would like to be featured in our main podcast with our boy Brian, one of us will read that comment if you do come through. So just a little extra incentive in there. But yeah, we will
Also,
try to do these more often. Like I said, we're going to try and do at least one per season. And if you have any suggestions on shows you would like to see us cover, like next season, or just in general, if you would like to see us do some throwback shows, leave those suggestions in the comments. We're always down to do more animate shit. So.
oh yeah, definitely. But also, folks, keep in mind, Jay and I have been watching similar anime for years. Even we don't agree on like certain qualities of shows.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those, and hope to God there is at least one individual out there that remembers Weeb Warriors. If y'all can actually get through the fact that I suggested Peter Grill.
I try my hardest to forget that, Tony. That's your equivalent of Brian's Kraven the Hunter trailer.
Yeah, and that's my cross to bear, but if any individuals out there want to bear the cross of making us feel pain, more power to you.
Listen, look, even if you suggest it in the comments, I'm just going to delete that comment and pretend like it never existed. I'm just saying. Don't do it.
Well, I'm saying not exactly like Peter Grill, Jay, but I'm just saying as an example.
Oh,
if
yeah.
they decide to show us something without us knowing how, like, mega cringe it may be.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this first episode. We are definitely going to do more. But yeah, do all the usual YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Until then, sayonara, my friends. We'll see you next